Hello, it's Farmer Brad, and I'm checking out testing StreamYard, seeing if I can get this set up to work. And let me know in the comments if the audio sounds all right. I have a little microphone here. I also wanted to show you guys that on our website, we now have the ability for you to purchase one hay bale for Farmer Bread LLC animals, and you can sponsor 1 week of chicken feed, which typically at this time consists of two 50-pound feed bags of non-GMO feed. And what you'll get when you sponsor a week of chicken feed is I'll take a picture with the two bags of chicken feed, and then I will take a picture of the chickens enjoying uh, the two bags of chicken feed. And the same would go for the hay. So just want to make sure that you're aware of that. And I'm actually going to be testing the workshop camera, as you can see down there. I'm going to hop over to the workshop and be building a chicken water bucket. Uh, the stream is a bit choppy at times, and so hopefully that helps the signal. Let me try one more. Okay, we're back. Stop that. And yeah, if it's still choppy, I just live out in the country, so our internet connection is not that great. Um, but I'm going to be making our automatic chicken water, the 2 gallon one, the most common, most popular item, and that we are pricing. So I've lowered the prices on each of these items because during the wintertime, um, the shipping costs can be increased. So I've lowered the price in exchange for you guys paying for the entire amount of shipping just during the wintertime. And here's the 4 gallon automatic chicken water. And here is the 2 gallon heated chicken water. Now this has a float valve. As far as I know, I haven't seen anything out there like this where it has the heated element in the bottom of the bucket, and then during the summertime when it's not cold out, you can use the float valve and hook it up to the garden hose. So that is our premium product. Let me go ahead and head over to the workshop, and let's see if I can get this to work. Let's see. Okay, here it It must have disconnected. I will go over to the workshop and try to get this added. Okay, now I'm over at the workshop and gonna get this situated, be able to build the chicken water bucket. I've been pretty busy in the workshop making a whole bunch of buckets, but here's the 2-gallon bucket. So the first step I do is I take my template, and this helps me mark where the water nipples will go. The 2-gallon bucket has the 2-gallon non-heated has 4 water nipples. Then I also like to try to use various parts for measuring. So this is what I would typically remove from the lids with the old design, and I end up using that as a measuring tool to figure out consistently how far down the hole needs to be made. And then I'm using you can use like 11/32 or like I feel like a 5/8. I've just found out what worked and just kept on using it. So I've been making these automatic chicken water buckets since 2015. I'm actually going to grab another bucket and another 2, and I'll get this assembly line going. Part of the reason why I end up making these as the orders come in is partly due to the fact that I don't want to lock up all of my float valves or all of my garden hose adapters, or really supplies and parts into one specific style. Because I try to keep my inventory low as far as parts go, and so if I'm making them as the orders come in, then I will be able to stretch it out as far as I can before having to do a reorder. So the float valves, I typically order in batches of like 150 to 200 float valves. And the buckets, one time I ordered an entire pallet of buckets. And then I typically order about 50 garden hose adapters, partly because when I buy 50 of them, then I don't have to pay for shipping. But one nice thing is about my bucket supplier, it's in Illinois, so it doesn't take too long for the buckets to get to our farm. Okay, now I have a 2-gallon bucket. I have 3 of them with holes in them for the water nipples. Now, since I've purchased enough of these, I have quite a few of these adapters. And so I just put this in here. And what's nice about these poultry water nipples is that it keeps the water inside the bucket. And so if you want to use this bucket during the wintertime, you just manually refill it, and then you add a heated element inside the bucket. But where the water cups, they'll be on the outside and then they'll freeze. And so that's not great. So, and then these have a little silicone gasket. Now, that gasket is optional, but my thought is if that gasket keeps it from being threaded all the way in, and if you have to replace this water nipple, then that will give you a little bit more room to bite in if you need to replace it. So I put it in the orientation that I want it to end up in, and then I gently put it in there and then get it oriented, and then I do that 4 times. So one of the benefits of the redesign back in 2018, based off of customer feedback, was that the chicken waters now use this reverse osmosis tubing. So it really sets up the Farmer Brad automatic chicken water bucket to be a chicken watering platform or system, because you can daisy chain any of these chicken waters into your watering system. So there's adapters that you can get on Amazon. There's splitters, and these are like quick connects. So it just really helps makes the system customizable. Okay, this one has all 4 on there, so I'll set that aside, and I'll do the same with this. Now, people might ask, why should you buy automatic chicken water bucket from Farmer Brad when you can just make it yourself? Well, I provide a service, and what that service is that I have the experience of making chicken water buckets since 2015, and also the price point that I'm able to get some of these items at ends up being a lot better. Like if you were to try to get these parts to build just one chicken water, it's going to be pretty high. Like this garden hose adapter itself retails for $7 by itself, and then I add the rubber gasket, an additional one, because some might not have as many threads, or some might have a lot of threads, and so
I want to make sure that it works well with all my customers. So if you don't need that extra gasket, you can pull that out, and then there's the black one that's in there. And I'm still working on trying to find a garden hose adapter that goes to like 3/8 shark bite, but I haven't been able to source that yet. And so once I do that, then I'll switch all of my chicken water systems over to a larger diameter of tubing. And that really comes into play when refilling the buckets for chicken tractor setup. So a lot of times I put a 5-gallon bucket on the back, and then that feeds 2 3.5-gallon bucket waters on the chicken tractor. And it takes a while for gravity fed the water to go through this. And so in that situation, a larger reverse osmosis tube would be good. But when you hook it up to tap water or your garden hose adapter, or if you have storage tank like an IBC tote or a 50-gallon barrel, then that will just do fine. Okay, so that one's done. Got one more to do. And then the next step will be getting the float valve in place. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the chat, and I'll take a look at them. Now, we do offer a do-it-yourself kit, and that is mainly if you have a container, like a 50-gallon barrel or something that you want to add a chicken water, automatic chicken water setup to. So we do have that option. Just go to farmerbrad.com and search for do-it-yourself kit. And all that is pretty much the water nipples, float valve, garden hose adapter, and then you can apply it to your setup. But part of the reason why I went with the 2-gallon bucket is since it automatically refills, there's really no need to have it be a 5-gallon bucket. So I end up saving on shipping with it being a 2-gallon bucket, and it takes up less vertical space for your chicken run or chicken coop. So this one's done. Now I'll put on the sticker, and I put the sticker on partly because it's putting my Farmer Brad in there, but also gives you a phone number that's on there. If you have any issues or concerns, it goes directly to my cell phone, and I can help try to resolve any issues or problem solve any of the automatic chicken water related questions you might have. And the reason why I did that is because I'm putting my name on the product, so I want to make sure that I make each of these exactly the same. That way I can field any questions that you might have over the phone. Okay, so that sticker is on there. Now I'm going to switch over to, I feel like the drill bit is 1/2 inch or something like that. It's a pretty massive one. Actually, it is a 5/8 drill bit. Now, when looking at the label, I always put the hole on the left-hand side, just so that all of these are consistent. Now, with that hole in there, so this is the supply of float valves that I was talking about earlier. So I get the float valve out. Now, out of the box, it's oriented this way. Now, so I end up putting it in the lowest setting possible so that the chickens get the freshest amount of water. Now, if you need to adjust that, it's just a Phillips screw there, and you can adjust that. Now there is a gasket there, and then this threads on. And if you've noticed the float valve knot, so one issue that I've seen sometimes is if this right here does not get tight enough, then your float valve could go to the side and deem ineffective. So you want to make sure that that is snug so that the float valve is in the proper position and it stops the water. Now, there on this float valve, there's like a very, very tiny hole, and then the float goes up and it pushes against that very, very tiny hole, and there's enough force in this that it's able to stop the water pressure. Now, this is the quick connect, and this one I really like because it has the little black rubber washer there, or O-ring. And by that O-ring being there, that means I don't have to wrap this with Teflon tape. So sometimes when I order the float valves, sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the pictures are a little different than what ends up arriving from my supplier. And so then I take this reverse osmosis tubing, and if it's a 2-gallon one, there's a little mark on my workbench that I cut it to. If you order the heated automatic chicken water bucket, that one you get a full workshop width distance. So I don't know exactly what that measurement is. Let me just cut one for you so you can get an idea. Okay, so this is the length of what you get when you buy the premium heated 2-gallon or the 4-gallon. Now, the purpose of the 4-gallon, and then this is what comes on a standard automatic chicken water bucket. But what I say is you can go on Amazon, and if you look for the 1/4 inch reverse osmosis tubing quick connect, then you can customize your system. Like right here, I got some Y splitters, and so during warm time of the year, I end up having like 8 chicken waters off of one garden hose. We're up to 4. Say hi in the chat if you're new to this live stream. I'm Farmer Brad, and I'm in my workshop building these automatic chicken water buckets. I have a couple orders to ship out, and so I'm putting them together. So the bottom part of this bucket is all done, and I add the garden hose adapter, and then I add an additional garden hose rubber gasket here. And now let me get the lid, and I'll show you how the newer design is done. Okay, so this is the newer lid, Now, one issue that I'd had before is that these are knockout test caps, and they would pop off the lid sometimes. And so I got to thinking that this ends up making like a little funnel at one point. So you can manually pour the water in there during the winter time, or it's big enough that you can just pop it out and then feed your electrical cord for the heated element into the bucket. But what I like about this is that it stays with it. And then since the float valve needs to be able to vent to allow the air out of the bucket as new water comes in, this little lid, I end up drilling a small hole. Let's see. So then I take this and I drill a small hole. And now that goes on there, pushes back down, and then this is on the outside. And then there's a very small hole that allows for the air to vent. And if your chickens hop up here and poop on there, it won't. I mean, if they poop right on there, then a little bit of the poop will get in there. But for the most part, it's good to go. And then I just snap that down, and then I have some instructional information to just be able to inform you how to set your automatic chicken water bucket. These can go on like a cinder block, or in the instructions I show you how to tie like a lark's head knot in order to bite onto this handle and keep it from sliding. But the real benefit with this little piece of tubing is that it takes the weight of the garden hose off of the float valve. And you can also easily pop this off. It's just like a quick connect. So you push against that and then you can pull it off. No tools needed. And so you can actually just feed it through the hardware cloth and then put that in on the outside of your chicken run, hook it up, and you don't have to cut the hardware cloth. So that's a feature I really like about that. So I'll continue to make the others. If you have any questions, now this live stream should be going to Facebook as well as YouTube. So if you're from Facebook, can you leave a comment down below? And I want to see if it comes through. It should. So our the YouTube channel is up to 2,158 subscribers last time I checked. So slowly but surely making some progress. Hello, Johnny. Thanks for saying hello. Johnny is from YouTube. He's watching Farmer Brad channel. Hey, Johnny, what do you use for do you have chickens, first of all? And if you have chickens, what do you use for your chicken water? So I'm going to add a sticker to this one. Now these stickers should hold up to most weather elements. They're supposed to be water resistant, waterproof. Yeah, Johnny mentioned, let me bring it up. Let's see. Yeah, Johnny mentioned that he found my YouTube channel from duck bacon that I got from Jungle Gyms. I had never had duck bacon before, and it ended up being pretty good. It's not too fatty. It's a little lean. But yeah, I cooked it up, and it was good. I figured I might as well film it since I had never had it before. Well, and just like that, I made a mistake. This is not going to pass quality control. That ended up cracking. So I'll set that aside, and I'll use that for farm project here, but that is not going to go out to a customer. The way I look at it is I'm putting my name on the product, and so I want to make sure that the fine folks out there that are purchasing the product are happy with the product and that it works as advertised. And I just don't want to cut corners on that. So I appreciate you watching. Yeah, so on our homestead, let me just talk about some of the animals that we have. Started with some 3 chickens when we relocated from California to East Central Indiana. And I made a chicken transport crate, and they actually laid some eggs on the way. And let's see. Yep, that is correct. And so then we had those, and I was starting to raise chickens for eggs. And then I realized I wasn't really making anything, maybe like $10 a month after I got done paying for feed. And then I got into looking at meat birds. And the nice thing with meat birds is you put them in the freezer and you don't have meat bird chores during the wintertime. So when I did that, then I got 2 guard geese and had them look over the chickens when I had them look over the chickens to try to protect them from air predators. And we've had those 2 geese, man, for quite some time. I feel like they're at least 5 years old. We started our homestead in 2015, and then shortly after that we had some baby doll sheep, but I found out quickly that I'm not very good at shearing the sheep, and so then I got some Katahdin sheep because they're a hair sheep breed, and so they naturally shed their hair and they don't have wool, and so I like that, and they're pretty resistant to parasites and other things like that. But I mainly got them so that they would mow the backyard. The back pastures are about 4 acres, minus some pond area. And so that was really how I got into Katahdins. And then I took a ram to the auction, and then there was enough room in the transport crate that I had in the back of the truck to bring home a Jersey heifer calf, and so brought her home, and her name's Buttercup, and then bottle fed her for 2 months, and now she's really big compared to what she was. And the main goal with her right now is just to have her another grazing animal. Someday we might get her bred in order to try to have some milk. But until then, I don't want to overcommit to having to have a milking cow and milking her every day when she has a calf and stuff. And so then we have 2 ducks, and then we received a goose named we named him Gavin, from a local animal rescue place. They figured the goose would have a lot more fun at our farm with ponds and other geese and stuff like that. And so then we also got a duck from there. So we have a gang of 3 geese and 2 ducks. And the duck and the goose that came from the animal rescue, they go on morning swims. It's pretty cute to watch. But yeah, so let's see. Now over here is some PVC that I have for the Mighty Micro chicken water. I have those probably overpriced on the website, partly because there's a lot more effort into making them. But the premise is that they are PVC and they're good for really compact areas. Some people have used them for in the brooder situation, because then there is a float valve inside of there like this. Since you don't really have much room in a 4-inch PVC sewer pipe, this goes in there, and then there's a little water cup that comes out the side, and then you have metal straps and fasten them to your chicken tractor or chicken coop. And so that's sort of what that is. I'm going to go back over to the studio and finish out any questions you might have. Let me see if yeah, so
Okay, I'm back, and let me double check and make sure the audio is, looks like the audio is good. So so we have the geese, and then I went to HOA, which is Homesteaders of America conference in Front Royal, Virginia. And the fine folks at AJ Farms allowed me to stay with them, and they raise quail. And so I ended up coming home with 24 quail eggs and put them in the incubator. And the goal that I have with that is to raise the quail for eggs and meat. And it's a really good way to create some protein during the wintertime where I can't with pasture poultry. And so I'm really excited to get started with that now. After, let's see, after 4 weeks with this variation of Coturnix quail, I'm able to determine which ones are the hens and which ones are the roosters. And then I'm able to, um, then at 6 weeks, they start laying eggs. And then at 8 weeks, they're sexually mature to be able to generate some offspring. And so from those 24 eggs, I hatched out 16 quail, and one of them did not make it. So I have 15. Out of those 15, I lucked out, and first estimates are that I have 10 hens and 5 roosters. So my thought is with those 10 hens, let's say I get 8 eggs in 10 days. So that's 80 eggs. Um, and then I put those in the incubator. And then it'll be about 17 days for them to hatch. And then I'll be able to just continue to grow my flock. Um, so I have a lot of capacity in the incubator to be able to raise them. And then the meat ones will pretty much be from the males that I need to keep in line. So typically they recommend 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, the male female ratio. And so that's how I plan on raising quail for eggs and meat. I'm going to hop off shortly unless anyone has any questions they have for me. Just remember you can go to farmerbrad.com and see. Yeah, you can go to farmerbrad.com for chicken waters and go to farmerbrad.com/YouTube for the YouTube channel if you're watching this on my Facebook page to subscribe. The videos that I make are a lot about homesteading, chickens, chicken waters, innovating to make things more efficient on the homestead. And yeah, so if you're on Facebook, visit farmerbrad.com/YouTube, and that will take you to YouTube channel. And let's see. So that's about it. Thanks everyone for joining this live stream. I'm going to try to schedule a live stream with the Clueless Farmer, possibly tomorrow. On both, I'm going to try to broadcast on both my YouTube channel as well as his, so we can catch up and figure out what is going on with the Clueless Farmer and how he's doing with the colder weather. So hope everyone has a great evening and take care. And if you haven't liked this video, please do. Please share it. And if you're not subscribed to the Farmer Brad YouTube channel, please subscribe. Till next time. Bye.